Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Let's see what time it is. 4:33 a.m. Before the Earth rotates enough to reveal the sun to us. Some people call that sunrise. Doesn't actually rise. We rise. It's more like Earth rise, not sunrise, or Earth rotate. So, hate to bring this up again, but still having trouble with internet. Lots of trouble. My upload speed is 1 megabyte per second, or 0.88 megabytes per second. I'm supposed to have 10 megabytes per second upload speed. That's my AT&T, I think it's called DSL, which Robert at Robert's Computer Hospital, if I understood him correctly, he said we're using the local area network LAN lines that are no longer used for telephones. I mean, I don't know if people still use those or not. But, ooh, it's cold out right now. Wow. I'm not used to this. I don't know what temperature it is, but it's cool. It feels cool right now. I almost feel like I need a jacket. I mean, I have a jacket on, but it has holes in it. It's for staying cool in the daytime. It's a leather jacket with those little holes, so it breathes. Okay, so going back to the internet. I am working with AT&T. They're sending me my second new modem. They said, oh, we sent you a new modem. What does it look like? I said, well, it looks like the old one. And the old one's like over 10 years old. And they were like, what? They were like, no, the new ones are small and totally different. So they said, let's try sending the new one, see if that makes any difference. Now, Robert at Robert's Computer Hospital told me that those landlines are not maintained anymore, and that it's going to go into effect that, I don't know what year, within the next couple years, that it's going to be mandatory that they're no longer maintained. But from what I've seen, I haven't seen them to be maintained. Maybe they just, if the one line doesn't work, they just put me on a different wires. I don't know how they do it, what they do. I know years ago I had, I think it was called Uverse, which is that's I think that's AT&T's, for watching movies and stuff. And I had a lot of trouble with the connection, and I don't know if that's the same wires that I'm using now for the internet. I really don't know all that. Robert would know. But anyway, Robert was telling me that they're trying to transition everybody over to fiber, but when I call AT&T, they say they don't have fiber in my area. And I looked around and researched this a little bit, and what I found is, here, someone's on the sidewalk, so I'm not going to use it. We both wouldn't fit on that sidewalk, see that? So I looked into it, and yeah, they didn't stop. Some people don't stop, some people do stop. And he ran a red light. Maybe he was afraid I was going to wave to him and say, hi, good morning. What was I saying as I freeze right now? It's nice to say that. I like being cold. I prefer cold. What I mean is I like to be cold and then to dress warm, compared to being hot and not being able to do anything but jump in a usually chlorinated swimming pool, which I do not like. Neither does my body, my eyes, or my hair. But what I do like is the salt water. I'm calling it salt water. I don't know if they call it fresh water or salt water. The saltwater filtration system works very good. If you haven't swam in a pool that has saltwater filtration, try it at your earliest convenience. I just wonder if enough people don't know about it. I mean, some people have swimming pools that they said they're not gonna use anything but that, and they love it. I've never met someone that didn't like their saltwater filtration system not having to use any chemicals, if I understand correctly. You just use a different kind of filtration system. I think it's called like saltwater filtration or something. Not sure the proper name. But how do we get to talking about swimming pools? Oh, we were talking about heat. Okay, let's go back to internet. How many times am I going to change the subject? If nothing else, my videos might just entertain you about how many times I deviate from the subject matter, which is okay with me. As long as I entertain, as long as I make you smile, I'm happy. If I can entertain you with some interesting scientific facts. Remember, science truly is science equals anything is possible. That's an absolute scientific fact. I just love it. And anyone that says something's impossible, they're just talking about their own belief system and something that I guess makes them comfortable. It makes me comfortable to know that anything's possible because it's a reality. And that's how I've been taught since I was born. Meaning the universe taught me that. Including many, many people in it. We're here to practice today. I'm going to practice sitting down again. Oh, I sat down recently for the first time. I don't know if you saw that video yet, because I just had a video it's like under 4 hours long, been loading for 2 weeks, and it just said upload aborted, something went wrong, and it keeps doing that. I guess that's what happens when you have an upload speed of 0.88. And AT&T says, we don't guarantee your upload speed of 10 megabytes per second. You'll just get a maximum of 10 megabytes per second. So guess what happens? They start doing some testing and stuff, and they start doing some programming or whatever they do, tech support, and it goes past 10 megabytes per second upload speed, right? It goes to like 12. I get off the phone with them, a couple hours later, back to 0.88. So yeah, it can go past the number, but it may not stay there, and something else seems to be wrong. We'll change the modem and see how things go. I also have the option of going with let's do some backwards testing here. I'll finish my sentence in a moment. I also have the option of going with, I think it's called Spectrum. Need to adjust my rear view mirror. I also need to move the heel of my left foot back more, because when I lean back, it's just too far forward. Do I want to practice going backwards right now? Not really. Why am I doing it? Well, because I want to be able to ride backwards, and practicing is the only way to sustain that ability and to assure my safety when I ride backwards. Meaning the more I do it, is the better I'll be at it. And the better equals less accidents. At least it can mean that. Less injuries, right? This is all about preventing injury. Okay, I'm realizing right now that both feet need to go back more. Guess they're just too far forward. The electric unicycle is leaning forward -3 degrees. I think on some apps, depending on what unicycle you have, that may read as a plus or a minus, I don't know. It's leaning forward 3 degrees, what they call 3. I think it's degrees. So I used to put it back to 0 when I rode backwards, but I noticed after riding for so long, on all conditions, at the -3 leaning forward, it became easier to ride, and I could only ride backwards if it was that way. Whereas in the beginning, I could only ride backwards if it was perfectly at 0. And leaning forward, I couldn't go backwards if I was leaning forward. Okay, we only did that a couple times, but I'm going to call that just maintenance and not necessarily improving my riding backwards abilities. Now I'm going to go ahead and do some turns exercises. Again, not necessarily to improve, but just to sustain, maybe sustain what I have. What I want to improve today is my sitting down riding, and we're going to get to that. I just hope I don't tire myself out before I get there. I've done that before. Like, oh, what I came for, I actually didn't get to it. Now I am wearing hip pads, tailbone pad, the very strong armor, okay? I would get the strongest and thickest you can get. Now, I wouldn't get like inches thick. Make sure the stuff is breathable, okay? I read the reviews. I got this on Amazon, and people were saying that some of the other brands that might be a little bit less expensive, or could be $10 more, didn't breathe, and they were just like sweating. Can you imagine on a hot day, and it's even hotter because you're wearing this armor? You need armor that breathes, okay? It doesn't mean you're going to get less protection. It means you're getting a different design that still helps. Could help just as good or could help better. There's rating systems for the armor. Get the rating system that is going to give you the most protection. It doesn't mean it's necessarily the thickest, but get the quality. That's my recommendation. I'm looking into like colors, and I'm going to need some help on this. Colors and patterns that I like for the gear. Like, what's my look? You know, people have a look they have. Right now I'm just wearing random stuff. It's all kind of mix matched because I figured, well, I'm learning to ride. It doesn't matter what I get. I'm just going to get something that protects me. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this right now, because what I was spending time on and my mind on entirely was learning how to ride. And, hate to bring it up, but there is stories of people getting hurt. And it's relevant because I would be curious to talk to anybody that got hurt to know if they practiced every day for a certain amount of time, and if they paid attention to what their limits were and didn't go beyond those when they were practicing, and not just practicing, but also when they're riding. There was someone with a dog over there. I don't want that dog chasing me. I've been bitten by many dogs. One time I was walking on the college campus and someone let their dog loose off the leash. The dog ran right over to me and bit me in the back. And as the dog's biting me, the guy's like, "My dog won't bite you." He never bites anybody. Now, I think what the dog was actually doing, I'm not sure. I think it was playing. You know how dogs play and they bite each other? I do think it was playing. It was a big puppy, but I think it's called a German Shepherd. It's the police dogs. But this was a privately owned dog. It wasn't a police officer that I know of. And anyway, I got the care I needed, and the person didn't pay for anything. They were supposed to pay for the medical bills. They said they didn't have any money, so they didn't pay for anything. But anyway, what else? Yeah, be careful with dogs off of leashes. That guy had a dog on a leash, but it's pretty easy for a person to let the dog off the leash. And it's pretty easy for a dog to start to chase you, even if the dog is playing, because he could be playing while he's like eating you or biting you and causing blood. We don't need to be having cuts and unnecessary injuries, right? So, okay, where were we? Internet. So going back to the so right now I'm going to break this video up. I don't know how useful this is going to be, and I also don't know if I'm going to be able to label these as like 1, 2, 3. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. But I'm going to make the videos shorter, and I'm hoping that could help the videos upload maybe less than several days. So I'm going to do the recording. I'm going to tell the recording when I want it to end by saying the words, and I don't think those words get recorded. They may not. Anyway, we'll see you in the next one, everyone. True Zero Emission signing off for the moment, and then we're going to practice sitting down and riding, because apparently, am I the only one in the world? I know I'm not, but one of the very few that learned how to ride backwards on an electric unicycle within the first few weeks of learning to ride, and that doesn't know how to sit down riding. Well, I've figured that out recently by pushing a basket again and sitting down. That's my way. So I did that for a couple days for a very short time period. What I mean is probably a couple hours each day. That's a short time period to me. And then next thing I know, I was riding and I sat down and I can keep going. Now, I did try that before and I couldn't do it. I lost my balance immediately. So the basket is what allowed me to get muscle memory. I'm calling it that. I'm using my own words. my muscles to remember what it feels like to sit down and ride. Like, I kept my feet where I keep them when I stand up. I was taught that. I know there's different ways to do things. I was just taught this by someone that knows how to sit down. They said I just keep the feet right there. And then what they also do is, once they're sitting down, they can move the feet. They can adjust them. I'm not there yet. I'm still keeping them where I was when I stood up, when I was standing up. So I keep the feet there. Okay, everyone. See you in the next video. Stop recording.